Susan Jane Rome, Master Coach, Mindset Mentor, and madly passionate about empowering women to rise and raise consciousness. I'm up on Cape Cod. It's my last night here. And I've been pregnant with this raw, birthing of this raw movement, radically aligned women. And like any birth, I'm in labor now. And I'm like, I just need to come tell you. I need to come tell you that those of us, it's as if we know that before we were born, we soul contracted to step up at this time and usher in the new divine feminine, raising consciousness. If you've always known, you've just had a sense, you're here to make a difference. There's a big mission for you. You are destined for greatness. And I don't mean that in an egotistical, self-centered way. It's always been bigger than you. Maybe you've been feeling guilty. Maybe you've been feeling like you aren't quite fulfilling what it is that you're here to do, that you aren't stepping up. And then there are all these coaches in the name of female empowerment who are operating under the male paradigm, manipulating you with like, you're playing small and you're not stepping up and you're hiding, and that's not what's going to get us there. I need you to understand this. Number one, our brain's primary function, our brain's number one job is to keep us alive. It identifies safety with keeping us alive. It identifies safety with the familiar. That means maintaining the status quo. Have you ever noticed in a family system, maybe in your family, you wanted to change a behavior or start a new healthy habit, and the people in the system around you seem to kind of trip you up rather than support you? That's not personal to you. It's trying to maintain the status quo, because that's what will keep us alive. Besides that, let's get really raw. Way back in the cave days, women don't have the physical strength and prowess to hunt in the bush. I'm from South Africa. I know what the bush is like. Which meant that we needed to be mindful and cognizant of not causing too much disruption, of not going too much against the grain, because we'd be asked to leave, we'd be ostracized, and that meant death, because we couldn't hunt and we couldn't feed ourselves. Cumulatively, over centuries, in our DNA, encoded in our beings, being burned at the stake for speaking the truth, for understanding the mysteries and the spiritual realms and speaking out about faith and God, witch hunts. This isn't an excuse. This isn't, oh, that's a nice story. We're living the reality of this. And to me, God's perfect plan is, or Goddess's perfect plan, for the birthing of this new divine feminine to happen. None of us can do it on our own. Because that fear, if we don't fall into the male paradigm of just armoring up and taking it on and just buckling under and competing and hustling and doing all that, without going to that energetic field, it's incredibly difficult, maybe impossible, for us to birth this on our own. And I think that's by design. I think the design is we're supposed to come together with this clarity, build community, cooperate with each other, collaborate, find the courage together to risk that. We can't do it on our own. And it's in that risking of it that we will allow our gifts to be born. And we will find the profit that's in our treasure that we have been denying, our instincts and intuition, our divine gifts, our superpowers, all of those, our story, our authenticity, vulnerability, transparency. It's not as safe as it was to be vulnerable. We need each other and we need community. We need to address, there are a few major blocks, the blocks keeping women back. And we can't afford to be kept back because wealthy women are changing the world. That's our purpose. And we know it. And we're not going to feel okay. We're not going to feel good. We're going to have the shame of, oh, I'm hiding, I'm not showing up, I'm not doing my blah, 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 blah. And the guilt of, I know I'm supposed to be doing something and I'm not fulfilling it, which becomes this morass of shame that wants to isolate us from each other, create the illusion of self-sufficiency. Oh, we're online, we can all do this, we're all, pretty agile and adept and capable and able, and we can do this. We can't. We can't. We're not supposed to. This is about us building community, true community, because we are here birthing. What is feminine power? What is authentic leadership? What is organic confidence? What is marketing as service? We have to come together to create this. I can't step up and be like, okay, here I am. I'm the leader of Raw and this is what you're going to do. Because that's the gap that the patriarchy's operated under. And that's not what this is about. This is the great leveler because we understand within our feminine mysticism, it's about relationship. It's orchestrating. It's the harp plays and the flute and the piano, and I'm not very musical, but each of us is a contribution to the orchestra that has to happen. We're here to orchestrate, to usher it in. It's not, oh, the singer's the, superhero. There's no leader. So the first block is shame. And I'm going to tell you, there is a shitload of work to be done around shame. And the bitch about shame is, you feel ashamed of your shame, so you hide. We need to come together. I started doing this shame work in the 80s. It's not being done. And that shame is bleeding out and causing people to get ripped off. Manipulation, insincerity, betrayal. Second block. Worth. The whole patriarchal paradigm of, I need to be at school and get an A, I need to earn that validation, that approval, that stamp. Because you haven't embodied your worth, you haven't experienced it, you don't have an experience outside of striving, attaining, achieving, being applauded, being validated, approved of, loved, adored, whatever that is. None of those things have anything to do with your worth. And they'll never be a substitute. They can't. They can only lead to more compulsion, more desire to prove, need, validate, because it's not built on a solid foundation. The only way to do that is to get radically aligned with the truth of who you are, your purpose, your soul, your God-given gifts, your mission, you're profiting yourself and others from your purpose. Living with passion. A prosperous life. This is what has to happen. And it has to happen. Or it's just going to keep feeding the lack, which is the plague of I'm not enough. Not enough? Lack. There's no abundance in lack. Okay? I'm going to leave you with those two. The first huge block is shame, and it's buddy guilt, and worth. Worth, a lack of worth. I want you to think about this. You are a conscious, smart woman who is here to self-actualize, which means healing, becoming whole, integrating. You need God, Goddess, all that is, to infuse everything you do. The energy with which you create, the energy with which you deliver and minister are integral to the outcome. And your confidence needs to be built on authentic results that you see manifesting in your clients' lives. We will continue this conversation, but I need you. I'm telling you, I can't do this on my own. I came from South Africa on my own. I knew not a soul in North or South America. I came here, I created a life, I have an incredible life here. This, I know I can't do on my own. I could do that. I left my family. I could do that. This is different. Something far deeper is being called forth in us to join together. Raw, radically aligned women. I love you.